When people talk about The Sopranos, they usually talk about later seasons, the therapy, the violence, the ending. But the pilot episode? That episode is doing way more work than people give it credit for.
What do you know about who belongs to what?
Today, we're breaking down 10 details from episode 1 that quietly define the entire series. Tony's psychology, his leadership style, and the lie he tells himself from the very beginning. 1. The ducks aren't about family. Everyone knows the ducks represent Tony's fear of losing his family. But here's what gets missed. Tony doesn't panic when they arrive. He panics when they leave on their own. That's important. Tony can handle chaos. What he can't handle is loss he can't control. That's the story of his entire life. 2. Tony is already a bad boss. In episode 1, Tony isn't technically the boss yet, but he's already acting like one, and he's bad at it. He plays favorites. He avoids confrontation. He lets Uncle Junior feel respected instead of setting boundaries. The seeds of every future power struggle are planted right here.
You may run North Jersey, but you don't run your Uncle Junior. How many fucking hours did I spend playing catch with you?
3. The therapy scene is a setup, not a solution. Dr. Melfi isn't introduced as Tony's path to healing. She's introduced as his new hiding place. Notice how fast Tony learns the language of therapy. He uses it to explain himself, not to change himself. 4. Livia wins the pilot without lifting a finger. Livia barely does anything in episode 1. And yet, she controls everything. Tony's guilt, Junior's insecurity, the emotional temperature of every room she's in. Livia doesn't argue, she withholds. That's power. 5. The show tells you, Tony will never change. Tony says he wants help, but every action in the pilot contradicts that. He blames his mother. He justifies his violence. He reframes his choices as fate. The pilot isn't asking, can Tony change? It's asking, why do we want him to? 6. The violence is intentionally awkward. Early Sopranos violence feels off. Less cinematic, more messy. That's on purpose. This isn't cool gangster violence. This is suburban brutality spilling into normal life. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. 7. Tony's panic attack is about identity. The panic attack doesn't come from fear. It comes from contradiction. Tony wants to be a provider, a family man, a respected leader. But those identities don't fit together anymore. That tension breaks him. 8. Carmela already knows everything. Carmela is not naive in episode 1. She knows who Tony is. She knows where the money comes from. Her conflict isn't ignorance, it's complicity. 9. The suburban setting is the real villain. This isn't a mob story set in suburbia. It's a suburban story infected by the mob. The cul-de-sacs, the lawns, the mall culture. That's what makes everything feel hollow. 10. The ending quietly tells you the truth. The pilot doesn't end with violence. It ends with Tony at home, safe, comfortable, untouched. And that's the lie of The Sopranos. That someone like Tony can live this life and never pay the full price. Episode 1 isn't an introduction, it's a warning. And everything that comes after, it's just Tony proving it right.